Now, Safaricom Decode serves as a platform to showcase engineering excellence, cutting-edge technology, advancements, and also thought leadership, while also emphasizing the alignment with national strategies, the promotion of financial inclusion, and the responsible use of technology, all in pursuit of shaping Kenya's digital future. Joining me now to tell me more is George Njuguna, Safaricom's Director for Information Technology. Hi, George.
Hi, Evelyn. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Asante sana.
Now, as we just dive straight into it, let's talk about the summit this year. Please elaborate on the key highlights and themes as well of the Safaricom Engineering Summit 2023.
Yeah, so this was year 2 of Decode. We themed it Decode 2.2. And this year, we built on a lot of lessons from last year. And the inspiration behind Decode is bringing Kenyan engineering stories to the fore. We say that those who tell stories rule the world. And so we created a platform where our software engineers and so many people who play in the digital space can tell their stories both locally and internationally. This year we talked now about Africa and just drawing from having a theme, and you probably see it on the background, where we bring digital as well as the African colors and saying as much, we're not trying to copy, there's so much greatness about our continent and we want to just infuse it with technology and tell those stories. It was amazing. Some of the highlights were we had some key launches, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. We also had unveiling some new tech and showing that here in Kenya and in this continent, young people are beginning not just to experiment, but make leaps in areas like AI. And then in addition to that, brought the creative piece and some of the great things we're doing, like on Base and some of our other channels, to the fore, and just kind of opening the hood to say, how is this done? And so there's the engineers, but so many times, sometimes you just you see the great products by Safaricom, but we wanted to kind of bring people to the back office and show how we build great solutions.
Yes, and I do like the design. It's very interesting. What? This must have taken, I don't know how many drafts you had for it to look like, you know, you see, is it a SIM card? No, and then you see the Safaricom colors, and then you see the Africanness, and I'm like, wow, okay, that must have taken quite some time. Now, when we talk about the Safaricom engineering community, we have seen it evolve over the past year. What do you think led to the increase in membership?
We made it key that it wasn't just about Safaricom. Safaricom's a Kenyan company. Safaricom is about Kenya. We reach every single part of this country. Yeah. And we said, you know, as the largest company in East and Central Africa, but also in our transformation to be a purpose-led technology company, digital and engineering were going to be very key for it. So we decided to reach out to universities, reach out to other tech communities, and say we're going to have an engineering community. As much as Safaricom is hosting, it's going to be taking place beyond the walls of Safaricom and being led even in certain what we call chapters, UI, UX, cybersecurity, big data, and some of the leaders in those areas and some of the pioneers may not necessarily be in Safaricom. It's been so great over the past year to just travel across this country and just ignite passions in young people and listen to the fact that they're looking for opportunities, not handouts, and tell them that in Safaricom we're building this community, we're building by Safaricom, and then tell them you can be part of this story. And you don't necessarily need to be in Safaricom. You could be a startup, you could be a tech company, you could be an enthusiast, but we can bring you on board as well. So we've seen the community grow from last year at Decode to about 0 to 6,500 now. So very exciting, and looking to hit 10,000 in the next 4 to 5 months.
I think it might happen even sooner. Tell me about the Accelerate by Safaricom program.
That's extremely important. So, you know, we found ourselves in a situation as a lot of big tech companies were setting up, and rightfully so. Our talent was showing up top, and some of the really good developers that we had as Safaricom would naturally take opportunities. And I often say it was a story of turning lemons into lemonade. And we said, hey, we need to build a great engineering experience, but we also need to look at the talent pipeline. And the talent pipeline is not going to come by headhunting our peers and competitors. But there's a lot of unemployment in this country.
Yes.
And so it meant that we needed to go to universities, we needed to build partnerships, centers of excellence, and beyond Nairobi, because Kenya is quite diverse. And it's been amazing to see the adoption of it. And so what we then do is see how these young people can begin to acclimatize way earlier, even while they're in school, with how we do things in Safaricom in terms of software development. And then we expose them to the different, we call them crafts, but just the different elements of what we do. And hopefully they can connect their aspirations with what we are doing. And working with the institutions, we can have a pipeline. So we're going to, starting at the universities, but then bringing them into Safaricom, and eventually through our some of the training programs, seeing how some of them can be part of this amazing journey we're on.
Yeah, well, if we could just stay on that of, you know, you touring the country and going to meet all these brilliant minds at all these universities and different institutions, please share more insight into the initiatives that I think you touched on earlier about the different things Safaricom is doing, Safaricom campus tours, the hackathons, innovation weeks.
Yeah, innovation weeks are great, and you know, Safaricom's about 6,000 plus staff, and sometimes in a large company, people can make a mistake of thinking there's a certain select group that is innovative. Maybe in this studio, maybe Amina. But the fact is that everybody is creative and innovative in their own way. But sometimes they don't find their voice and they don't find the platform. So through our hackathons and innovation weeks, we said, everybody, you can be part of it. You don't need to be in tech, you don't need to know tech. You bring your idea, and we're going to connect you with people, coaches, mentors, and any idea is going to have an opportunity to compete. And so we've competed both locally, we've competed across Africa, and great to see some of our teams excelling at the highest level. I remember one exciting story of some young guys from our contact center, and competing and winning, and not just winning in Kenya, but winning in the Vodacom Africa Hackathon. So that's been exciting. In the schools, it's been interesting because also sometimes we've gone to TVETs, and just the enthusiasm that you see. And I remember once we held a program, and I didn't know that they had closed school, but they all came back just to be there. And then somebody else came even from another university that was probably about a 3-4 hour journey away to just be part of this. And you just see how much they're sucking in of information. But also what's great is we don't take like maybe external trainers. We have our own team members who, some of them are probably 3-4 years out of university, being the ones who are sharing how they're doing things, answering questions. And so we have some exciting competitions and prizes, and getting some of them to be interns in our organization. So you don't know the impact it will have. Somebody in Makueni or in Lodwar coming into Safaricom or Samburu, you don't know where it's going to go, because I believe that you who's in your community, you're in the best place to innovate for your community.
Yeah.
Somebody from Uko Inje may have great ideas, but if we can just give the knowledge and the skill set and tool sets to the people in that community, they actually have the power to solve their own problems.
Yes, and it's very, very beneficial to so many. Now, we did touch on it, so now I'd want us to talk about the different platforms that have been launched. The Entertainment Hub, the Safaricom Developer Portal, the revamped M-Pesa Daraja API. So you can tell me more about that.
I'll start with Daraja, and I think my colleague Mweni in the studio, who probably is much more eloquent than I am on this.
Yeah.
But
where is Mweni? Did she know she was going to speak?
she can, we'll see. So one of the core things that we do, so Daraja is what we call our open API platform. So what that means is we expose a lot of the M-Pesa capabilities to developers. So we have over 60,000 developers on Daraja. And what they do is they're going to be building solutions for banks, for supermarkets. So sometimes when you go to a supermarket and you see a pop-up for you to pay or parking, most of the times those are capabilities we've removed from the core of M-Pesa and exposed them. So all those developers are earning a living, I believe, maybe doing solutions for banks or fintechs. So the revamp there was to bring in Bill Manager. Also began talking about M subscriptions on M-Pesa. So if you do have something that you pay every month, how that would be availed. We talked about the data protection APIs,
yes.
But Bill Manager was good. And when he was giving me a story about somebody who runs a gym, and they can be able to see through this API who's paid, who's not paid, send reminders. So just giving people the experiences that they should be having when they're working with our technology. The developer portal is one of our exciting ones. What's at the core of that is saying, how do people build software in a world-class way? And how can people who are probably not so great at coding be able to build solutions? So being able to have what I'd say is templates. It's my easiest way I can say it. But templates where, be it deploying a new environment, be it creating a new app or a portal, you can just be able to go there. So our engineers take what they've learned and they think, how can this be done elsewhere? So if you look at one of the capabilities like My County, it's kind of building one main county white label app, and then instead of you, and I give my own story, living in Kiambu, working in Nairobi with interests in Kajiado, I don't need to have the three. Can I just go to one, My County, and be able to select? And so being able to develop those solutions through our developer portal. And then our base is amazing. I think it's just bringing content together. I love the UI, UX, as well as the technology behind it. It was great to see that team on stage, and also some of the artists who are building content onto that platform also participate in the conversations.
Yeah. So much going on. Tell me about the Industry Digital Talent Program.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's, I think, the core of where we are supposed to be. So I talked earlier about youth unemployment.
Yeah.
And then you also look at the demand that's there. I think where some estimates are by 2030, the global demand around digital roles will be about 85 million jobs, but quite scarce. And so what we tried to do, we realized that we have similar challenges in the industry. When it comes to digital transformation. You want to do this, but you're looking at these skills, but they're not there. So we addressed it on two sides, both the supply and demand. So on the supply side, last year we graduated about 652 people into that program. And then, but we realized, okay, how are they going to get jobs?
Okay. So there's a support side to it too.
There's support side. So over 20 partners have come in from banks, government and others. So we then created a portal built in Safaricom, and we are open sourcing it and likely going to be giving it to government and others, where their profiles can come on. We guarantee that they're certified, they've gone through the internship, and we can hire them. I guess we have a commitment of taking over 200 interns each year, but other people can. But also when it comes to jobs, we have a very big pipeline where if we do require to build something drastically, we're not thinking how do you come in, learn the way we work. We're providing ready-made talent both for our organization but also for other organizations. So we launched it at Decode, and you should pop in there and check. I'm sure you have quite a lot of digital brands under your belt, and you can see some of the UI, UX and developers there.
Yeah, and just, have a glimpse of your world and see how things work on your end.
Yes.
I'll be with Mweni so that she can take me through it. But just before you leave, I also want to talk about Safaricom's cloud service. If you could please give me an overview and tell our viewers the key features.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about what we've been able to do on cloud, and the cloud play is always, we call it from a strategy perspective, digital infrastructure. When an organization, an individual, a startup is looking to bring their products or services to the fore, one of the things you do if there's a digital side to it is you need servers, or what we may call compute, or you need a computer. And so when this challenge presents itself, and the timeline sometimes of purchasing it, setting it up, being able to deploy it, is what has driven cloud as kind of the number one way. And most of the apps you use and services you use currently are running on one cloud or another. So what Safaricom does is we both present the big global players in cloud to people in our market. We have the skill sets to build on there, to take customers as well as government. But more so is just we've built, I believe, the best cloud in Kenya and perhaps in Africa in Safaricom. We learn from what the big players do, but we also bring in our own lessons, our own intricacies locally. And we have a very fantastic offering. We host some of the most critical services in this country there, and always ensuring that they're always on, always secure. But
security was going to be my next question.
yeah,
it was going to be my next question. So please elaborate on that, because it's always the first thing that people think about. This is something beneficial for both individuals and businesses. So that is a bit scary, you know. How do you ensure that you're protecting my data?
It's one of those things that, you know, if somebody tells you they're 100%, they're not being honest. The fact is that you just have to have layers and layers of security, and then you have to do lots and lots of testing, and then on top of that you just have to be on guard 24/7. So we have a cyber defense center that has the state-of-the-art technology, always building both the skills as well as the technology and refreshing it. Quite a lot of it is actually being, I would say, deflected by using AI. And it's actually not humanly possible. The millions of attacks we get a day just in our organization, you'd have to have millions of people to deflect them if people were the ones responding. But by using advanced technology, we're able to do the deflections. And so very excited that we have been able to stay at the front, but also doing a lot of partnerships. And I'm personally also participating in having partnerships and collaborations that say, hey, the bad guys are collaborating, we need to come together. And sometimes it's being vulnerable to say, hey, this is an attack that we suffered. I want to just share with you the learnings so that you don't go through the same. And we've seen in the last, even I'd say the last 3 to 6 months, a lot of collaboration between private sector and government into seeing how that we can counter attacks, but also how we can increase awareness, education, and ensure that we're always on and always secure.
Well, before I let you go, this is my final question. Well, we have to talk about what's coming, the future plans for the Safaricom engineering community and how it aligns with Safaricom's broader corporate strategy.
So that's quite exciting, because, you know, we believe that what we've stumbled onto, we didn't think by this time we'd be where we are at. We got a lot of great support from our leadership. Our CEO speaks about it in the last investor brief. It was amongst his core comments about our transformation. Our board believes in it. So we're going to accelerate. Where the next Decode, and probably when my colleague Naisanya comes to speak, she'll be talking about it, is we're going regional. And so this is going to continue as we continue to provide services to Kenyans at all levels, from the community to large enterprises and government. These digital skill sets will be critical in us doing this. It will also be critical in creating jobs and building the digital and creative economy, and helping to drive Kenya to a place, I believe, Amina, where we have economic liberation. And if you look at the growth in the digital economies or the digital space, it's more than double digits compared to the regular GDP growth. So we believe by expanding these skill sets, expanding the opportunities, we stand a chance as Kenya, as standing tall, not just in athletics and wildlife, but standing tall also in the digital space.
Yes, which will definitely happen. Thank you so much, George. I really appreciate that. Igniting Africa's digital renaissance, the theme of this year's Safaricom Engineering Summit. Please find out more. Go to all the Safaricom pages, and of course go to their website so that you can understand more of what George was telling us. Thank you so much.